Welcome to This Week in Media-ocrity, where we present you with all the best and the worst of the media. I'm your host, Joel Foster, and I hope you too celebrated Made in America Week by researching the rent prices in Europe. FYI, they're expensive. I wouldn't say this week was quiet by any normal metric, but we know nothing's normal anymore. But it was quiet in comparison to what we've seen lately. More Russians were revealed to be at the Donald Trump Jr. meeting, now totaling 8 people, which is perfect for a Matryoshka doll. Might have said that wrong. But the war over media heated up as CNN continued to be badgered by the alternative media. In turn, the alt media really played up the persecution angle, acting like they were Jesus rather than some dude in a webcam in his attic surrounded by empty Mountain Dew bottles. First, it started with Mark Dice, who answers the question of what would happen if Axe body spray came to life. We've featured Dice before. He's the ultra-popular YouTube host who has over 1 million subscribers and gains popularity by convincing people that the establishment is trying to shut him down. Here he is claiming that one of his videos was taken down by the same platform that gave him fame, YouTube. He giveth and he taketh away. Let's take a look.
In the most ironic thing to ever happen to me on YouTube, YouTube decided to take down one of my recent videos on CNN, not for copyright infringement, not because it was hate speech, which just means that you're criticizing the liberal agenda with a little bit too harsh of words. No, this was something totally new, something I had never heard of. They said that the video was misleading. You see, the joke just writes itself. My video exposing CNN for being fake news was taken down by YouTube saying that I was fake news. Some of you who get...
This is CNN.
Ah! This is the most ironic thing that YouTube's ever had done to him. I wonder what the other ironic things were. What topped the list before this? Was it the time that YouTube accidentally classified his videos as news? But I think we can agree that if YouTube is censoring political videos, then that's not cool, even if I don't agree with the guy. So what was this dangerous video that Dice talks about? Well, YouTube put the video back up after Dice complained on Twitter, so now, finally, we can learn the truth. Ooh, this is going to be good. Let's watch.
This is CNN, the most trusted name in news.
You're watching CNN? What the hell?
Okay. You're falling into the fake news trap again, and this is sad, Anderson.
Okay.
You are now at 13th place in national ratings, behind Nick at Night, which is at 11.
Let's just listen into the French.
So it's clips of CNN making mistakes? I thought we were going to find out that Hillary Clinton was actually Queen Victorious of the Galactic Federation. There's literally hundreds of videos on YouTube that make fun of CNN. Why would YouTube take down such a, okay, I'll say it, nothing burger? Well, it's probably more likely that they took it down because the title of the video is This is CNN, and it's not CNN. It's a guy showing CNN clips without permission, just like I do. So YouTube's algorithms flag this as being misleading because it technically is. Like if I titled my segment, This is Us, first of all, you would think it was a typo, but it would obviously not be This Is Us, even if I showed clips of This Is Us. Get it? So basically, it was an error by YouTube's algorithms. But this is like catnip for guys like Dice, who sustain their popularity by convincing you that the man doesn't want him to speak. The truth is, no one really cares. Dice is the kind of guy that acts like people don't like him because he's so honest, and not because he has the personality of spoiled Hamburg. And it wasn't just Mark Dice that had a persecution complex this week. Here's Mike Cernovich, one of the most popular bloggers in the alt-right worlds, or so we've been led to believe. You might remember Cernovich as the guy who got a White House press pass, then posed in front of the lectern flashing the OK sign, which has become like the very unoriginal gang sign for the alt-right. Cernovich had a tough week, as he explains in this harrowing video where he recounts the nightmare of his vacation being ruined by the devils at the Anti-Defamation League. Let's take a look.
Are we live? And we're back. MySearchDangerPlay.com, Gorilla Mindset. Real quick, I'm on vacation actually. I'm not supposed to have to deal with this stuff. But the ADL has targeted me and my family for murder and assassination. Today, they released a hate list, identifying me as some kind of purveyor of hate or something like that. And after the after the shooting of Scalise and others at the basketball game, they're trying to get me murdered. The ADL is trying to get me murdered. There's no question what they're doing. There have been mass shootings because of this. Floyd Lee Corkins tried to murder people, family research shooting. The SPLC created a hate list And because of that hate list, Floyd Lee Corkins went on a mass shooting at the Family Research Council. You can look all this up.
To be fair, any vacation would be ruined if it involved Mike Cernovich. It's hard to relax on a beach with a mojito when you've got a guy in your ears screaming about the deep state's attempts to carry out a new world order, right? But what's Cernovich talking about? Well, the Anti-Defamation League, a group dedicated to tackling issues of anti-Semitism, released a report this week entitled Alt-Right to Alt-Light, naming the hate. In the report, they talk about the emergence of what they dubbed the alt-light, meaning conservative media figures who appeal to the alt-right audience, but tone down the whole Nazi KKK thing. The ADL lists Cernovich as the leader of the alt-light, or one of the leaders of the alt-light, in addition to other windbags like Lucian Wintrick of the Gateway Pundit, there he is, Milo Yiannopoulos, probably know him, and Vice co-founder Gavin McInnes. Basically, these guys are like David Duke, armed with a publicist and better hair products. Cernovich claims that by including him on the list, the ADL is calling for his murder, as he mentions this 17 times in that video in between plugs for his book, Guerrilla Mindset, which he shouts out like someone suffering from Tourette's. Now, the ADL's job is to bring light to those that they perceive as being anti-Semitic, whether you agree or not. But what's interesting is that nowhere in the video does Cernovich distance himself from the white supremacist movement or the alt-right. He could get himself removed from the report in 5 minutes if he'd done that, but he probably couldn't fit it in with all the Guerrilla Mindset plugs. And why does he think this will lead to murder? He mentions the Family Research Council shooting as a reason for the fear, so let's get into that. What he's referring to is a 2012 shooting at the offices of the conservative Family Research Council, a group that advocates against homosexuality, including supporting laws that allow same-sex marriage, which they've compared to bestiality. In 2012, a man named Floyd Lee Corkins, a guy who sometimes volunteered for a gay rights group, walked into their office and shot a member of the organization, wounding but not killing him. Corkins later said that he didn't like the group's politics. Conservative sites were quick to point out that the Family Research Council was dubbed a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Association, the SPLC, like you mentioned in the video, because they are a hate group. They're pretty open about hating homosexuals, but they say they don't hate them, but you know. Anyway, pundits said that this designation is to blame for the shooting, which might justify Cernovich's fear, except that Cernovich was one of the first figures to push the Pizzagate story. This was the one that accused a DC pizza parlor of being involved in a secret pedophilia ring involving underground tunnels. It was kind of like alt-right fan fiction. But the stories led to a man going to the pizza parlor and shooting up the place, although no one was hurt. So it seems a little strange for Cernovich to blame the ADL for advocating violence when he himself actually caused violence with his reporting and has never apologized about it. Maybe he can think about that on his vacation. And the thing is, you can tell that the whole threat to murdering my family thing is phony, just a way to get more followers. Look at a tweet he posted around the same time where he says that his family is threatened, then goes on to brag about his Facebook engagement numbers. Does this look like a guy who's fearing for his life? It looks like he's having a sale on death threats. Supporters of Cernovich took to Twitter to convince us that Cernovich is just a good guy and we should leave him alone. This guy, Marcus the Swift, wrote, "Look at this dangerous guy," then posted a picture of Cernovich with his dog, who looks to even be mixed race, so take that. It looks sweet, but that's actually a side bitch. And I can say that because she's a dog, she's a female, don't look that up, and she's definitely in heat. So it's probably no surprise that Cernovich is buddies with our old friend, Alex Jones, who's also been persecuted this week. Cernovich posted a tweet where he expressed support for Alex in response to a viral video that played Alex Jones rants as a Bon Iver song. Here's the original clip.
The paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderous scum. They're one giant death factories keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, "We love Satan, we wanna eat babies." I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy weird creepy weird a woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot belly goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of born-in people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna steal your daughter at the mall. We're gonna steal your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked. Well, that.
All right. It's true there's probably never been anyone quite like Alex Jones, and for that we should be thankful. Well, the Bon Iver video was supposed to be lighthearted, but the famously thin-skinned InfoWars host really got bothered by it. But he tried to play it off by posting this video. Let's take a look at this.
Well, that was the first installment of what we all know is going to be an album, because what the people demand, they get by the amazing artist, Nick Lutsko. Now, to be clear, I don't like folks making fun of medical experiments on children or splicing humans with animals, something that I've been forcing out into the media consciousness. But in the end, we will take this piece of art and we will basically take in the poison and then through alchemy spit it back out in a way that will empower humanity and warn the world. So next week, we're going to release this music video again, and it's fair use. It is using my work. It is using my words. It is using my voice. It is using my mind. And I'm going to add articles and videos to everything I said in it, no matter how outrageous it sounded, documenting it for you in triplicate. You will see people with green-colored skin. You will see people saying they kill their babies, and they love Satan, and they love being ugly, and they love stinking, and howling and screaming all over the country, literally possessed by the modern spirit of anti-human garbage.
Ooh, I can't wait. And what does that alchemy look like? Well, InfoWars' Paul Joseph Watson posted on Twitter that the Washington Post is terrified of a potential PewDiePie-Alex Jones collaboration that would break the internet, which is what all the kids are saying these days. The only reason why the Post might be terrified of this is because it would probably be the lamest thing the world has ever seen, which would just bum everybody out. Speaking of which, InfoWars released the winner of their CNN meme contest this week, and it's hilarious. Well, take a look and you decide.
You are fake news.
Okay, well maybe that's the lamest thing ever. Sorry, PewDiePie. So you took a scene from The Matrix and you put Trump and CNN on the guys' faces. Clever. It looks like the alt-right held a summer camp for learning After Effects, and this was their final product. Might want to keep tooling around with that, guys. All right, finally, we're going to introduce a new member of the Fake News Club. Fake News. This is Jack Posobiec, who was also included on the ADL report about alt-right personalities that I was talking about earlier. Posobiec is what happens when you're raised by hippie parents who didn't love their children enough. He worked for Rebel Media before going out on his own along with his partner in crime, Laura Loomer, a Jewish reporter who constantly mentions that she's Jewish to provide guys like Posobiec with a shield for his anti-Semitism. See, the conservative blowhard business isn't just a boys' club after all. The pair might be best known for interrupting a production of Julius Caesar, where the main character was portrayed by a Trump lookalike. Let's take a look at Lumer Persebic's own production of Julius Caesar. Let's take a look.
Liberty. Freedom.
Stop the normalization of political violence against the right. This is unacceptable. You cannot
Get off the stage.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause. We're going to pause. Security.
This is violence.
Security, please.
You are all Goebbels! You are all Nazis like Joseph Goebbels! This is Goebbels! You are all Goebbels! You are inciting terrorists! The blood of Steve Scalise is on your hands! The blood of Steve Scalise is on your hands! Goebbels would be proud! Goebbels would be proud! Goebbels would be proud!
Come this way. Sir,
Goebbels would be proud! Sir, Goebbels would be proud. Goebbels would be proud. Goebbels would be proud. Nazis.
Sir,
you are Nazis.
Please,
Goebbels would be proud. Goebbels would be proud. Goebbels would be proud.
Let's go.
We are all Goebbels. You might think that was rude, but it was really just Pasebic taking the chance to plug his new sitcom, The Goebbels, starring Tony Danza, coming this fall. How will they handle all those kids? It might go without saying at this point, but Jack Pasebic was also granted a White House press pass, because apparently anyone can get a press pass to the White House now. I really need to try and get one. Pasebic is known for staging events at anti-Trump rallies to get negative publicity. BuzzFeed reported that he brought a sign reading "Rape Melania" to one of these protests. Pasebic also bragged about starting an "Assassinate Trump" chant at another protest. And he also didn't like that he was included on that ADL report. Here he is sticking it to the man, not the Jewish man. He really wants to make that clear. Let's take a look.
Against anti-Semitism, but at this point, the ADL at this point only serves, they're just targeting conservatives at this point. They're just targeting conservatives. They're targeting people who are on Trump supporters. They're not trying to do anything to actually further the causes that they stand for. And so here's what they're doing, all right? Here's what they're doing. Multiple things is, number one, is they're trying to call attention away from negative things that have happened on the left, okay? And number two, they're trying to attack us because we have been so effective on the right. So the ADL is freaked out because the ADL and the SPLC and the left, the DNC, George Soros in general, have all put in with Antifa. They're all on the same side. They're all taking money from the same sources. So what these people need to do and what they need to understand is what's going on. What's going on? We're talking about ADL terrorism. They put me on a terrorist list. They're the terrorists that put me on a kill list.
Mom, I'm trying to expose a conspiracy here. Leave the plate by the door. I'll eat when I'm done. So, is it true that the ADL only targets right-wing conservative groups and leaves the left alone? Well, someone on the left might disagree, because the ADL has repeatedly come under criticism for not supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, with the ADL claiming that BLM engages in anti-Semitic messages at times. Then there was an op-ed by ADL leader Jonathan Greenblatt a few weeks ago, who sounded the alarm that left-wing groups were becoming more violent. There's also a recent report by the ADL about the shooting of Steve Scalise. The report raised concern that left-wing groups were becoming more radicalized. Whether this is true or not is beside the point, because the point is that the ADL has criticized both sides when appropriate. Remember, their main goal is to target anti-Semitic language, regardless of where it comes from. Just turns out that it comes more often from the far right. Hey, they didn't make the rules. So, are these guys being persecuted? Well, ask yourself this. Do you think Jack Pasebic or Mike Cernovich has ever been pulled over because they were driving through the wrong neighborhood? Do they get funny looks when they walk into a convenience store wearing a hooded sweatshirt? I hate to assume, but I assume not. Rather, these guys remind me of something.
You will be isolated from society, as has already happened. Anyone who tries to run for office who actually believes the Bible will be considered a lunatic until finally we are silenced. They've already come after your children, and for most of you, they got them. They got them through the public schools and indoctrination, and the university and indoctrination, and then you wonder why your children come out not serving the Lord. It's because you fed them right into the devil's mouth.
That's Right, megachurches have perfected this method, convincing people that Christianity is on the verge of extinction, and they make millions of dollars from the people that they convince. Compare this with the underlying message of the Trump campaign and of the alt-right and the guys we've been talking about, that the middle-class white Christian man is on the verge of extinction. Think about every time you've heard about the Mexicans taking over, or the blacks, or the Muslims. Only the funny thing is their position in our country has not gotten better. Think about this if you're a white person. Would you ever trade places with a Muslim? But really, why are they doing this? Does Mike Cernovich really believe he's being persecuted? He's being ignored, sure, because people don't want to hear what he's saying. Not because they don't want to hear the truth, but because he's obnoxious. And so is Jack Posobiec and the rest. And the thing about it is, their guy is in the White House. For all the talk about raging against the establishment, they are the establishment right now. And just like Trump, it seems like these guys are better at criticizing who's in power rather than dealing with actually being in power. So the next time you hear someone crying about how they're being silenced, listen closely to what they're saying. Remember, just like they have the right to blather on about a conspiracy to ruin them, you have the right to ignore them. All right, that's all the time I have for today. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Have a great weekend, and don't forget to ignore the noise. All right, stay cool, Tucson. Take care.